In Christina Brandiotis' book, The Hoarding Handbook, there was an incident where a social worker came by to check up on the family's living conditions. When the social worker came up to the door and knocked, the owner of the house only slightly opened the door just enough to see. Assuming the owner was hiding something, the social worker informed the owner what he was going to do. After telling the owner this, the social worker realized that the door was being blocked and obstructed by mounds of garbage. When someone begins to hoard objects, they believe that it has significant value to them. Hoarding causes people to have physical health issues and affects living conditions. The first point I will go over are the signs of hoarding and how hoarding begins. The second point are the effects hoarding has on your living conditions and how it affects your physical health. Lastly, I will cover the type of hoarding which is also known as animal hoarding. In the next couple of minutes, I will go over these points in more detail. Although hoarders may think that their stuff will be useful in the future, the truth is that they are obsessed with taking in more junk. According to the Mayo Clinic's website, it says that there are multiple signs that can show when the hoarding obsession will begin. One of the signs of hoarding is the inability to throw items away. For example, hoarders will usually keep items that have something of significant value. For example, like a gum wrapper or even a piece of string. Once that becomes a habit, it will be harder and harder to stop, and the garbage will just keep growing. Another sign of hoarding is someone being unorganized and messy. Some examples of this would be just to leave dirty piles of clothes on the floor, or leave empty water bottles or cups in your room and never pick them up. Randy Frost, writer of Compulsive Hoarding and Acquiring, says that if one wants to overcome hoarding, you must identify the problem and then seek treatment methods that best work for you. The next thing hoarding has effects on is your health and the way you live. In Buried Treasures by David Tolan, it states that hoarding can have a major impact on your well-being because of all the stuff that is crammed into one or multiple rooms, thus containing possible underlying diseases. In TLC's Hoarding Buried Alive television series, there was one specific episode where this couple had so much junk in their home that they had discovered a dead cat that had been dead for 2 years, buried under everything that they had. Which brings me to my last point, animal hoarding. According to Brandiotis and her book, The Hoarding Handbook, animal hoarding is defined as the presence of large numbers of animals. When hoarders begin to keep pets, they tend to go extreme. Some may have up to 20 pets in one household. However, the most important problem with having this many pets indoors is that there tends to be contaminants and it becomes unsanitary with the urine and feces that the cats or any other pets leave behind. In conclusion, the way hoarding can be detected is if one has the inability to dispose of unnecessary belongings and leaving rooms filled with garbage without cleaning it up for periods amounts of time. Hoarding animals can lead to contaminated and unsanitary living conditions. Hoarders may have a problem with collecting certain items, but if you ask yourself, can I throw away something that's so precious to me?